Now we're going to take a look at copy, pasting, and linking expressions in After Effects. The standard copy and paste technique goes something like this. You open a property that you want to apply an expression to, and you apply an expression. Now you edit the expression. I'm going to use something like wiggle. Then you're going to select the expression text and copy it to your clipboard using Control-C or Command-C on a Mac. Now with that copied, you're going to go to the next layer, open up the property you want to paste, add a new expression, and paste using Control or Command-V. Say I wanted to do the planet layer now, so I'm going to open that one up and paste it to that one as well. But this can get really time consuming, especially with a large number of layers. The more efficient way of duplicating expressions goes something like this. Open a property that you want to affect. In this case, I'm going to hit S on the rocket null layer to open scale and add a new expression. I'm going to use wiggle to 20. And now I'm going to highlight the property name here in the timeline, right click, copy expression only. And what this is going to do is it's going to copy the expression and it's going to remember the property that it was applied to. It's not going to copy any keyframes, so it will ignore all keyframe values on this property. So I'm going to come down to the properties I want to affect, and I'm going to hit S on my keyboard to open up scale just so we can see the value change. You don't actually have to open scale for this to work. And I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Control-V or Command-V on a Mac to paste. And you'll see that now it's applied automatically the expression to scale for both of these layers, and you see that the values are already being affected. This is a really efficient way for copying one expression to multiple properties and having it automatically recognize which property it needs to apply it to. When linking properties to each other with expressions, there's another option besides the Pick Whip tool. If you open a property you want to use as a link and select the property in the timeline, you can come up to Edit, Copy with Relative Property Links. Selecting this option creates a reference to this property using an expression. So now if I navigate to another property, in this example I'm going to use rocket null and hit S on my keyboard to open up scale just so we can see what's happening. And I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut Control-V or Command-V on a Mac to paste, and you'll notice the expression has been applied. So if I twirl this down, you'll see a reference, this comp, layer, planet, transform scale. And this technique does the same thing that pick whipping does. If I grab this pick whip and come down to scale, you'll notice that the expression is the exact same as before. So this is just another way to pick whip a value. What if you have a situation where you want to link to a property inside of another composition? This is where the copy with property links becomes very useful. So to illustrate this, I'm just going to duplicate our introduction composition, and I'm going to rename this Alt, and I'm going to open it up. So we have two duplicate comps here. Now the Alt composition is what I'm going to use to control the introduction composition. So if I come down and highlight rocket null and hit R on my keyboard to open rotation, I'm going to work with Z rotation. So if I highlight Z rotation here in the timeline, I can now come up to Edit, Copy with Property Links. Selecting this will create an absolute link to this property, no matter what composition you're in, and it will copy it to your clipboard. So now if I come over to the original introduction composition and highlight rocket null, I'm going to hit R on my keyboard just so I can see what's going on here with the values. And I'm just going to use Control-V or Command-V on a Mac to paste. And now what you'll notice is that the expression has been applied to the Z rotation property only. And if I twirl this down, we now see a reference, Comp 100 Introduction Alt, which is the composition we were just in, Layer Rocket Null Transform Z Rotation. That's kind of cool. It's got a dynamic link from one composition to the next. So if I come back to the Alt composition and adjust this value, I'm just going to change it to 90. So now we see the rocket here is rotated around the planet slightly. And if I come back to the introduction comp, this rocket has done the same thing. The Z rotation in the original comp is at 90, just like the Alt composition's Z rotation property. This method is extremely useful for working in nested compositions or templates and linking cameras or layers together within nested comps. We've arrived at the end of Lesson 105, Copy, Pasting, and Linking Properties. If you enjoy this expressions course, consider purchasing the paid content. It includes in-depth documentation, extra tutorial content, high-definition videos, and all the project files used in the training. Your purchase will help to create more free courses like this in the future.